What's up guys, today I'm talking about our boy Kuroki Gensai, the Devil Ants with the almighty beard, going over why he's anti-plot armor. My goal for 2020 was to reach 10,000 subscribers here on YouTube, so be a mad lad and subscribe alongside these other cool things. Now, enjoy the video. When the Annihilation tournament started and we got to see all the characters, who did you first predict was going to win the tournament? I doubt many would say this homeless beard assassin looking dude. For me personally, I predicted Kiryu Setuna to win the tournament and that Tokita Oma was going to fight him and defeat him at a later part in the story, not in the initial Annihilation tournament. So round one of the tournament starts with Kuroki being matched up against Rito. Rito being a character that had something like a rivalry with the protagonist Oma at this point, with him taking the first L from Oma and with him improving from his initial loss to get Oma. As we know, we wanted to see him get a win, see how much he's improved, maybe lose in the later rounds. Many would have assumed Rito would get the win against this, random Kuroki dude, based on how he already lost and how we've seen more of him and he was more of a main character at this point. But as we know, he got destroyed by Kuroki and it wasn't even a real fight. Kuroki just walked straight through him. And also at this point, we had some others making it seem that Rito was kinda trash. So at this point, Kuroki didn't get that much hype because we saw some of the other Annihilation tournament fights. We saw what some fighters are capable of, such as Cosmo, and we saw what Rito as, and he's kind of not on their level, so Kuroki defeating Rito like he did wasn't too impressive at this point in the story. However, one thing that was said that started the build up of hype for our boy Kuroki Gensai is Ray stating the following: he is strong and may be on the level of Kano. This was stated after the Rito fight, so with that little off statement that not many people really, listened to or remembered, started the build up of Kuroki Gensai's greatness. So we flashed to round 2 with Kuroki getting matched up against with Kiryu Setuna. So by normal plot convenience, Kiryu was going to win this fight and I thought the same. He was portrayed as the sole person Oma wanted to take down in this tournament, and even the reason for him being involved in the Kangen matches at this point. As we know, Oma wanted revenge for his master's death, Tokita Nikko, who was killed by a man named Genzan. This occurred after Tokita Nikko had to, take down Oma himself when using the advance, defeat another Nikko, and then was killed by Genzan in the final fight. And at this point, Genzan was the master of Kiryu, so Oma's revenge was pointed at Genzan, but Oma learns that Kiryu ended up killing his own master Genzan at a later point in the story. This resulted in Oma's inner rage and drive to be pointed at Kiryu, so that's why his main goal at the start of the tournament was to defeat Kiryu. So back to the Kuroki fight, Kiryu had the plot on his side, as I just demonstrated. Yes, Kuroki also went down a revenge based path during this fight, as he learned Genzan was killed by Kiryu and Genzan was an old friend of Kuroki. So with Kuroki defeating Kiryu, this was one step to, the rise of Kuroki being an anti-plot armor god, but he did gain a little bit of plot armor for wanting revenge for his own friend's death due to this, ungrateful student of his. So kind of not really, but still not. I don't think anyone expected Kiryu to lose in the second round to this bearded dude. Round 3 features Kuroki facing Ray. I personally did think Kuroki would win this leading up, but during the fight we learned that Kuroki was the one who killed Ray's father. So with that, Ray gained the power of plot and, the power of revenge. Kuroki used the power of revenge the last fight, so I assumed around halfway through the fight that Ray would, use this power of revenge to defeat Kuroki Gensai during this fight. But as we know, Kuroki Gensai defeated Ray and, he didn't get revenge for Kuroki killing his father. And even though he didn't really want revenge for that, that is a major point I need to mention. He wasn't really driven by revenge during this fight. Now we got to see Kuroki defeat 2 people who had the power of plot on their side in 2 different elements. And yet again, Kuroki Gensai was anti-plot armor. Round 4, Kuroki is facing the king of the Kangen matches, Kano Agito, the 5th Fang of Metsudo, the character that kind of replaced Kiryu in the tournament as the person to beat by Oma, and also by a large amount of fighters in Kangen Ashura, such as Wakatsuki. Only reason him fighting was to defeat Kano Agito. I was like, no way Kano would lose to this, he would make it to the final and lose to Oma. The round before this, we had Hatsumi defeated by Kano Agito, and Hatsumi was the other person on the same team of Oma, and that Oma was the only person left representing them, so I thought Kano would be the one to, you know, surpass Hatsumi and all that. But as always, Kuroki destroyed Kano Agito and the plot armor itself. It's good to mention that we learned that Kuroki's involvement in the tournament initially was somewhat due to Metsudo wanting someone to defeat Kano, which he succeeded in with all his greatness. Now we have the final round of the tournament, Kuroki Gensai versus the protagonist Tokita Oma, who was on the brink of death, and I think many, including me, were getting the idea that Oma would defeat Kuroki, win the tournament, but die shortly after, and we're kinda somewhat right with this. He was the protagonist, he had, you know, the regular plot armor to make it to the end, but he didn't have the almighty plot armor to defeat Kuroki Gensai. Kuroki defeated Oma, and Oma was assumed to be dead shortly after the fight. Kuroki Gensai, the character who is anti-plot armor. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to subscribe, join the Discord, all that other good shit, and yep, that's it guys. Peace.